What is up, guys? It is Robert of Movies with Me, and welcome to the Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker movie review. That is a mouthful. If you didn't know, yes, this will be spoilers. This is all spoilers, just giving you a heads up. I'm going to talk about a lot of shit that happened in this movie. So this movie is directed by J.J. Abrams, the man who gave us The Force Awakens, and it was supposed to be Colin Trevorrow, but here we are with J.J. Abrams. It stars the great cast: Daisy Ridley, Oscar Isaac, John Boyega, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, a lot of motherfuckers. You know, it's a ton of people. And goddamn, Adam Driver. How can you not name Adam Driver Kylo Ren? There's a lot to talk about in this movie. And again, I know this is going to be one that's going to be pretty damn divisive. And I get it. Last Jedi was super divisive in terms of audience. I personally loved it. I loved The Force Awakens. You could go back and watch all my reviews for every single Star Wars movie other than Solo. I didn't make a Solo review, but I really love Solo. I gotta make that one day. But The Rise of Skywalker was one of my most anticipated movies of my life. Period. You know, like, this was so damn hype for me. I was in the theater. I saw it in the biggest screen in New York, one of the biggest in the, I think the biggest in the country. I was so ready to watch this, and man, the first time I saw it twice already. The first time I saw it, I cried so much in the credits. I mean, the whole credits, I was just tearing up. It was the finale, you know? The second time, emotions were gone. The hype is drained. It's gone. And I got to watch the movie just really honing in on this story, seeing how this finale is. And I gotta say, I was pretty disappointed overall. That is not to say at all that it's a bad movie. It's a very, very entertaining movie. There's a lot of great action scenes. There's so much fun interactions between characters. I love the characters of Rey, Finn, and Poe. And this movie is literally their movie. A large portion of this movie is Finn, Rey, and Poe on a journey. It's awesome. I love that. That, to me, is just fucking great. There's a ton of great action scenes between so many different locations, and these locations are beautiful. You know, J.J. Abrams is a hell of a director, and everything is just so gorgeous. These new designs, these new planets, the new creatures, all those environments, they all look so fucking good, and I love that so much. But a big thing this movie does is essentially say fuck you to The Last Jedi. And I don't like that in the slightest. I am a fan of The Last Jedi. But even if I hated The Last Jedi, in the end of the day, it's a movie that exists, and it's a part of a trilogy. You shouldn't be fucking with a part of a trilogy. Just continue and make a movie. This feels more like a response to The Last Jedi and just tries to appeal to people that didn't like Last Jedi. And I think that's crazy because, dude, J.J. Abrams, make your movie. If people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. In the end of the day, that's the thing, is that movies, you're going to get split no matter what. Not everyone's going to love every single movie ever. The fact that the biggest finale in movie history is literally basically taken and written by fans, essentially. It's everything that a fan would want. And for me, it became so predictable. It blows my mind that Palpatine's fucking back. Why is Palpatine back? I mean, literally within the first 3 minutes, Kylo Ren goes to this one place and oh my god, it's gorgeous. One thing. But you see Palpatine and it's just like, he drops immediately. He says, I killed Snoke and I'll kill you too. Palpatine says, oh, I made Snoke, you motherfucker. Whoa, wait. You made Snoke? And yeah, you see this little lab where they're making a whole bunch of Snokes. And it's the oddest thing ever where, you know, Palpatine's like, you know, all those voices in your head, I was all of them. And like, he transforms into Darth Vader and Palpatine and Snoke within his voice. And I'm just like, oh no. Again, that's already something they reverted from Last Jedi. The whole thing that they were setting up in Last Jedi, at least, was that he kills Snoke and Kylo Ren was going to be the true leader and he's going to actually go crazy and who knows what he's going to do. He's going to do some crazy shit. He doesn't do crazy shit because it's actually Palpatine. Apparently they said that they've been planning for Palpatine to be the main leader for the whole trilogy. And I'm like, what? How? In 7 and 8, there was no trace of Palpatine. In all reality, it doesn't make sense. And for some reason, underground, this weird thing, they're building a ton of Star Destroyers that can destroy planets. So basically, everything's a mini Death Star. And I'm talking about like hundreds or maybe thousands, actually. This cult has been working with the Emperor and making Star Destroyers. And I'm like, what? That came out of nowhere. I gave the pass to Starkiller Base. I was like, okay, you're setting up. This is episode 7. It's the first one. You're trying to take it easy, I'm okay with Starkiller Base. I am. But you can't do that kind of stuff again. And they managed to do it again, but like times 1,000 with every Star Destroyer. And it's kind of the funniest shit ever. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and act like all these ships taking on these Star Destroyers at the end isn't fucking awesome. Because it is. It fucking is. But logically, I mean, it's only too much where you could be like, damn, how many people do they have this cult? You see like 3 cult members, just kind of just walking around. And then somehow they just made thousands of Star Destroyers. Or maybe the Emperor made it himself. I don't know. Maybe he could do that too. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. And I cannot stress enough that, again, I don't think this is a bad movie by any means. It's entertaining. It's just that when you start to really break down this whole wrap-up, this ending, I think that, honestly, J.J. Abrams didn't like what Rian Johnson did, and I don't think Rian Johnson liked what J.J. Abrams did, and so they never had a true trilogy planned out. They just went movie per movie, and then they said, okay, well, let's see what the fans want, and that's so stupid. It's such a horrible way to do that, because then you end up with this, to me, disappointing ending. Like, yes, I loved seeing Rey and Finn and Kylo lightsaber battle and Poe doing his Poe shit, and Poe has a little side story that I enjoy with this girl. Finn apparently is like Force sensitive now, or at least it seems like he is. I'm actually cool with that. I'm cool. I think that's cool. I like the fact that people can be Force sensitive and they don't have to be part of a lineage. Keyword, they don't have to be part of a lineage. Ugh. So, a big thing in The Last Jedi is that Rey's parents is nobody. They're nobody, right? They're a nobody. And I thought that was awesome. If you go back, I thought that's so cool. That means anyone can be a Jedi. To me, everyone's like, oh, she's just a Mary Sue. But in the end of the day, in my opinion, she's just like the Michael Jordan of the Jedis. Why can't she be the Michael Jordan of the Jedis? Like, in the end of the day, like, dude, why is LeBron James so fucking good at basketball? I don't know that man. I will not. You could practice every single day. You will not be as good as that man. And what I'm saying is that some people are just really good at their things. I kind of see she's one of the people that's just fucking amazing at her shit. And you see her training more. I enjoyed seeing her train, kind of going around with Leia, which RIP to Carrie Fisher, but they did pretty good with her actually. But there's a big reveal with Rey that, oh my god, Kylo's like, this is the problem that I have. So Kylo tells Rey, I wasn't lying. Your parents were nobody. At least they wanted to be nobody. Why? That's such a cop-out, man. It's like they wanted to be nobody, so they just kind of hid her and they laid low. It's because, oh, she's a Palpatine. Yay! She's a Palpatine, bro. She's a Palpatine. Oh, thank you so much. The odds of you getting a thing right was so obvious. It's either she's a Skywalker, a Kenobi, or she's a Palpatine. You got like a 33% chance of getting it right, so yay to you. But to me, it's like, I like the fact that she was a nobody, because I was in the lane where after Force Awakens I was like, she's totally a Skywalker. Like, it's so obvious. So the fact that it wasn't, and you learn that maybe other people could be Force sensitive, and maybe some people could just really or can hone that craft of being like a Jedi. I think that's cool. I like that. You don't have to be born being a Skywalker or whatever. But oh no, fuck. Oh well, now you're Palpatine, so that's why. Okay, cool. All right, that's a thing. I don't like that. I didn't like that, and unfortunately, it gets dropped real quick, and Kylo just says, "It's like, you're Palpatine's granddaughter." It's like, whoa, whoa. Okay, all right, that kind of came out of nowhere, my guy. That came out of real nowhere. And she's like, what the fuck? And it's like, no, I can't be a Palpatine. What are you talking about, Kylo? It's like, yeah, and I agree. What are you talking about, Kylo? One part that I really damn enjoyed is they go, again, Poe, Rey, Finn, and Chewbacca, and C-3PO. They go to this one location. Again, they're trying to find like this tracker to get to this where the Emperor is, and I like that idea. It's kind of like a little guy trying to find a map, and it's kind of like a side quest almost. And I enjoyed that part where there's like this like party going on, like there's this festival going on during this. It only happens like every 42 years, and of course it's happening when they're there, and there's this epic part where Kylo gets there, and then Rey, you see in the trailer, she jumps over and she cuts off the actual part of his wing, and he comes out, and a big thing right then and there is Chewbacca's getting kidnapped, right? Chewbacca's getting kidnapped, and they're like, Finn's like, Rey, Chewbacca's getting kidnapped. It's like, they took Chewbacca, they took Chewie, and then Rey goes and stops the fucking ship with her hand, and it's so badass. It's awesome. And it's like all of a sudden a tug of war, because then Kylo starts grabbing the ship, and the ship is going back and forth, and then all of a sudden she gets like so fucking pissed that she shoots electricity out of her hand, explodes the ship with Chewie on it. She kills Chewie. I was fucking stunned, and it was so good. I loved that setup. It was just this awesome tug of war, this intense little battle going on, and the emotion between them was huge. Like literally, Rey starts like almost crying, saying, "Chewie, no!" And Finn is also like, "No!" And Finn is always yelling, but it was absolutely really damn good. I love that high stake emotion, the fact that, again, this is technically the finale of the whole saga, so they gotta, I guess, technically kill off some characters, and so they kill off Chewie, and it was, honestly, I thought it was a cool way of doing it, and they didn't have the balls. 10 minutes later, they bring back Chewie. Apparently, he was on a different ship that we didn't see. He was on a different ship. It wasn't that same ship. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? What, Finn just couldn't track 2 ships or whatever? He thought that was the one? I was like, oh, come on, man. They didn't have the balls to kill Chewie. And I'm not saying they think they should kill Chewie, but like, it was just a perfect way to kind of show how dark you could get from Rey's perspective. And unfortunately, they don't do it. They don't keep it. Well, we thought he was dead. That would have been huge. That could have been huge, and it impacted them. And they're like, they wanted to go on for Chewie. They're like, all right, for Chewie. And they just bring him back 10 minutes later. It's like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Come on. That was fucking bullshit. And it's probably because if they actually genuinely did, fans would be like, what? That's how you send off the character? And I get it. It wouldn't have been the greatest send-off, but in the end of the day, death is unexpected, right? Am I right? Death is not very expected a lot, especially in war, in fucking war, and something like that would have been a big person gone, and I think that would have been awesome. Again, it's the last one. He's probably gonna come back in some spin-off or some shit, but it's like that would have been a perfect opportunity. Some other cool things is that they showed more of the Force. And I know, again, that another complaint is like, wow, yo, these dudes are so powerful. But again, to me, like, if you're a Jedi, if you're able to really handle the Force, you should be able to like be like a fucking superhero. You should be able to do some crazy shit. A big new thing that Jedis could do, at least this was in the Mandalorian. Apparently, I didn't watch that episode yet. But you can actually heal, like full on heal. There's at one point, there's this giant serpent, this giant kind of creature that Rey doesn't want to kill, but instead heals him. And just by kind of holding and like closing your eyes, you actually take a little bit of life from yourself and give it to them. And I think that's pretty damn cool. And it's pretty incredible when you think about, like, I've always thought about that personally. Like, if you were to take a piece of your own health and give it to someone, would you? And it's certain opportunities like this. Like, I'm sure it wasn't a lot of health to heal a serpent. It wasn't like something crazy. But there are other moments during this where a really cool action scene occurs between Kylo and Rey. It's a lightsaber action scene, but at the same time, it's also very much just showing how both of them are really close to each other in terms of power. And I like that moment a lot. I mean, I like it a lot, where they're fighting, but eventually they start slowing down their hits, and you see them, how she's kind of getting tired, and he's just kind of just defending, and she just realizing, they both realize that, like, dude, we can't kill each other. Like, we're literally, like, at even pace, man. At this point, we're, like, at even pace. And you see how they're swinging each other, and just, they're like, just going slowly, and, like, they know it's like, all right, we can't kill each other. But a big moment right then. There's a lot of big moments in this movie. Obviously, it kind of has to be. But Leia, again, she's dead in real life. But in this one, she dies. She actually, like, kind of calls to Ben, Kylo. And Kylo, because of that, is almost, like, distracted and is, like, shocked that his mother has just died. And Rey kind of takes advantage of that and stabs Kylo. But then you could tell that she feels bad and stuff, so she actually heals him. And again, I like that whole scene. That whole scene is so good. She leaves. She gets away from Kylo because Kylo's just kind of stunned. Like, he's like, oh wow, she actually helped me out. If you remember in The Last Jedi, he held his hand out. He's like, come with me, and she was like, and she didn't say, it's like, I can't. Why don't you just go on the good side? And this one, she said, he's like, I wanted to take your hand. And I was like, oh, God, are you serious? Like, and I really like those moments. I love those moments. They're so good. On that same ship, Kylo's still just kind of sitting there. And he has, like, this memory. It's not really a Force Ghost because it's not a Force Ghost. But fucking Han Solo's there. I'm like, well, what? Harrison Ford? How much did they pay for Harrison Ford? Fucking Harrison Ford in Episode 9. I was like, what? And that was a really nice moment. It was a really good moment that I'm so torn apart on, because this is the turning part for him. In Episode 7, he kills his own father, and it eats him alive for the next movie, including Last Jedi, and a lot of this movie too, until he is able to face his father again through a memory. And it's his own memory, and instead of actually killing his father's memory, he actually throws the lightsaber, and he's like, I know what I must do, but I don't know if I'm strong enough to do it. And what he's really saying is that I know I should be good, I just don't know if I can. And he does, and he becomes the good guy. And again, it's Rey and Kylo against Palpatine. And my problem was that I saw that coming. I saw that coming for such a mile away, like, it was just too obvious to the point where it's like, I get that's what it is, and it is, I like it, I like him a lot, and I like the scenes they do with that. I just feel it's too predictable. I feel like this was too safe of an ending. You have a Palpatine, and you have Kylo and Rey against Palpatine, and Palpatine dies, and the world is saved, and there's no real anything, and it is a good arc. I will say it is a good arc for Kylo. I do like that a lot, but at the same time, it would be so cool to just see him be the villain, and he doesn't actually die. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Vader technically became good at the end, but it would be cool if Kylo just was not. He just did not become good, because at the end, like, let him be the villain. And I think genuinely it was supposed to be Snoke, but then Rian Johnson was like, I don't want Snoke, I want Kylo. And JJ was like, oh, well, fuck you, I don't want Kylo, I want Palpatine, actually. And so I was just kind of surprised by that all. And then by the end, when it is Kylo and Rey against Palpatine, Kylo gets thrown around to almost death. Rey, and this is, again, an awesome part, I'm not going to lie. She's on the floor, and she's like, I don't think I could do this. And then all the Jedi voices start going into her head saying, rise, Rey, you have this, Rey. And I'm talking about everyone. Anakin, Qui-Gon, Mace Windu, all these motherfuckers, and Yoda, everyone's in her head, and it's fucking epic and awesome. And she's able to get up and then take on Palpatine, but not in a crazy way. It's really just her holding two lightsabers against his electricity and then eventually like repels onto him. And it's just like, it wasn't epic, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a trilogy ending fight. Like, it was just like, all right, Palpatine, get ready. I'm gonna take your electricity and hit it against you. It's like, okay. Sure. And because of this, all her like life is like drained from her, and so she's dead. She dies. Rey dies. But Kylo has an idea. And so he goes and he comes back from getting thrown around. He's about to die. He uses his remaining life to save Rey. And when he does that, for a few short moments, they look at each other. Rey's like, Ben. And then all of a sudden they kiss. Fuck! No! You know what pisses me off? My fucking mom predicted that shit back in 2015 in Force Awakens, and I told her, if that happens, I will not like it, and I will say I don't like that. It should have been Rey and Finn. What the fuck, man? But it's fucking Rey and Kylo, and the thing is, she kisses him, he smiles, and you know he's like having some hard on or some shit, and I would not blame him in the slightest, and he just dies. Because again, he gave his remaining life to her, and he just dies. I will admit, I don't care for the fact that they were like a thing for 2 seconds. I genuinely don't really care for that, and I like the ending though. I'm not gonna lie, you know, it's really just them celebrating. You know, they won. And it made me cry a lot. I cried a lot the first time I saw it. And it wraps up the whole trilogy by this. She goes back to Tatooine. Rey goes to Tatooine. Regardless, she goes to exactly where they lived. Exactly where Luke lived. And she then buries like Luke and Leia has a lightsaber. There's a lot in this movie, obviously. I'm not covering everything. But she buries this shit. And this one old woman just kind of stops her and says, "There hasn't been anyone here for quite a while. Who are you?" And then Rey, you know, goes, "I'm Rey." And then she's like, "Rey who?" Bitch! Why do you keep asking? Why do you need to know? Why do you need to know? Are you going to act like you know everyone in the galaxy? You just know a lot of fucking names? Doesn't matter what her fucking last name is. You know, obviously she doesn't want to say Palpatine, because if she says Palpatine, she'll probably be like, "Palpatine? Wait a minute. Isn't it like... I was alive back then. They tried to kill us." You know what I'm saying? And so like she goes and she's like, she's obviously in her mind, she's like, "Oh shit, what do I say?" And so she looks to the side and sees a Force ghost of Luke and Leia, and she's like, "Rey Skywalker." And it's like, what? She's a Skywalker now because, you know what? She's like, kind of. So she's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to just call myself Rey Skywalker. Fuck you. I am the Rise of Skywalker. That was the whole movie, I guess, technically, right? That's what it's about. And then it ends with an awesome shot, though, looking at the suns, you know? And then it ends. But man, why do people want to know her fucking last name so goddamn bad, dude? Jesus Christ, let her be a fucking nobody, man. Let her be just Rey. Let her be just Rey. Again, I don't love that part, and I think this video is super long. But you know what? I don't fucking care. If no one watches it, no one watches it. But I enjoy rambling about it. I gotta ramble about this to somebody, right? I gotta ramble about this to somebody. Again, the decisions that I don't love, I think they should have killed Chewie. I think that she shouldn't have had a lineage like that. I think Kylo should have been the actual villain. I don't think Palpatine should have existed. It's kind of those kind of major points that are, to be fair, major points. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I didn't have a fuck ton of fun. There's a lot of fun to be had in terms of the action, in terms of just the character in general. Like, I like seeing all these interactions between all of them. And yeah, you also get like a forced Luke at one point, and a Force Ghost Luke, and he somehow can now catch physical items. I don't really get that. At that point, you might as well die. It sounds like dying is better than being alive on this fucking planet. Like, if you're a Jedi, dude, just die immediately, because you know what? You actually might be able to fuck, yo, because if everything's physical, you might be able to still penetrate shit. I know that's very random, but you know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, being dead sounds better than alive if you're a Jedi. But I don't know, man. But again, there's still a lot to like about it. A lot, but it's just the actual endings, the actual ending, the wrap up to everything just is disappointing to me. Not everything about it, but a good chunk of it. And again, I don't think it's bad. I still think it's a good movie. Overall, I'm going to give Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker a 7 out of 10. I think it's a good movie. There's a lot to love about it. And in fact, like again, I was kind of leaning towards a 7.5. At one point, I was at an 8. Early on in the movie, I was probably like at a 9. Dude, I mean, I love a lot of moments in the movie. There's a lot to like about it. But if you break it down, I can't give something a 9 and have complaints that are major to the actual plot itself. You know what I'm saying? And again, I think it's a good movie. It's just, man, as an ending to a huge trilogy, to a huge saga like this, it's a disappointment because it's really just a reaction to Last Jedi, and it's what the fans want. It's predictable. It's exactly what you would expect. You would expect Palpatine and you would expect Kylo to turn good, and you would expect them to fight Emperor and kill him, and that's it, the end. And when there could have been so much more and cooler moments and more epic finale, instead you get this. And while it's not bad by any means at all, it is good. In fact, it's probably really good. It's just disappointing, you know, as a whole wrap up to an entire goddamn saga. I mean, Jesus. But at the end of the day, it's almost impossible to appeal to everyone. I know a lot of people that are saying they love it. I know a lot of people that say they hate it. But hey, you know what? I'm in the field that likes it. Not loves it, but just likes it. And that's super disappointing for me. It's not even my top 10 of the year. That hurts me very deeply. I was getting emotional when I saw it today because I was more disappointed by it. But it's still a fun movie. You know, again, I love these characters so much. And for the most part, they had some solid wrap-ups. But there's just some decisions that were just like, man, just grab your balls, man. Grab your balls, Disney, and go wild with it. Go wild with it. But, oh well. They went the safe route, and this is what you get. So, yeah, guys. Let me know what you thought. Again, this is super long. I don't think anyone's going to watch this, but you know what? Fuck it, whatever. I don't fucking care. It's fun. See you guys next time. Peace.
I'd rather shoot up a school than go sit in a classroom. Shit, is that too soon? It's always too soon with the shootings happening every afternoon. Man, what to do? Man, who to blame? Point the figures at movies and video games, but not one glance in the motherfucker's brain. I don't get it, but I don't sweat it. I just watched The Last Jedi and complain. I'm Ryan, ruined the whole franchise.